Thank you for staying with us on Fafanua Africa. It is a youth-based show where we talk about every issue affecting the youth across the African continent, and we try to propose solutions to these challenges as well. Now, let's take a quick look at the rate at which the value of some African countries' currency is taking a nosedive. And our case study, of course, is Nigeria, with the recent difference in the currency. I mean, looking at how much the Naira is selling against the dollar today. We also will look at the cost of living crisis among the youth worldwide. There's those in the country and those in the diaspora. And of course, I have joining me to discuss this my colleague and a fellow journalist, of course. His name is Dapo Adegboye. Thank you so much, Dapo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
He said it felt weird being on this side.
I mean, yes, being on this side of the chair, most times it's usually, the anchor role, but it's all good.
Well, it's my show, you're my guest, you're going to behave yourself.
That's the beauty of the job. So,
all right, talking about the currency depreciation first, what is your projection? I mean, as of today, I think the Naira is selling 1,000 and something against the dollar.
Yes, about 1,000. On the black market, it's edging about 1,000 plus.
That's a huge decline.
Yes, someone recently did like a sort of math. At some point, it was about 100 Naira, and then it moved to 200, 300, and then I think at some point it was 400, in between 500. That's the last administration thereabout. And right now, a dollar to a Naira is about 1,000 Naira. And you'd ask yourself, is this progress, or what exactly is happening to the economy? So the truth is this: it's a combination of several factors. Number one, an accumulation of many failed experimental policies on the part of the government. That's one. And then number two, if you also look at the Nigerian economy, it's more of a consumer economy than a producing economy.
Yeah.
And many of the things we use internally are imported. And you use foreign currency to purchase those things. It's more into their pocket outside.
So it's like we use their currency to buy from them.
Exactly, than inside. I mean, a typical example is oil, crude oil, right? Not crude anyway, the refined product that we bring back in. And right now, what we have, since the recent administration that, introduced some reforms, talking about the free fall and all of that, the factors of demand and supply, capitalization taking its place in oil, we are beginning to see a situation whereby the demand for foreign currency seems to outweigh the current supply. So there's a deficit, right? And so when you look at all of the, aside, one other factor to that is really important, selfish interests. So some people who have their wealth stored up in hard currency, I'm talking about the dollar right now, would not want it to come down anytime soon, because that would be, a loss of revenue for them, right? So imagine if I have maybe stock up somewhere, $500, $1,000, and I'm resident in Nigeria, or I'm paid in dollars. And right now with the current rate, $1,000 is about, if we had to go by 1,000 Naira, that's $1 million Naira, right? Would you want me to? No, such individual would not want it to come down to 100 Naira,
it's a
right? So, and unfortunately, quite a number of those people are highly placed. But let's look at the workability of some of the new reforms by the current administration. As at sometime this week, the new CBN governor, was sworn in and he's hit the ground running with some reforms. I think what Nigeria, currently needs right now is, yes, one of the excuses that a lot of African countries are giving is the COVID-19 really. Yes, it did really affect a lot of countries, not just in Africa alone, across the world. However, being intentional, right, with these policies, not experimental, intentional, and also the willpower and commitment to make some of these things work also plays a pivotal role. So I think I would just start off on that note, that it's a compendium of several factors that has resulted in where we are today when it comes to the exchange rate issues.
Right. Okay. Now, looking at how this will affect the youth, because of course, this is a youth-based show, so we're not getting our eyes off the ball. Now, looking at the fact that the youths, especially in this part of the world, talking about Africa, have been grappling with unemployment for the longest time. How is this now going to affect or worsen? Because we know that it's affecting, but how will it worsen the living conditions of the youth?
Okay, so I think it swings in two ways. I wanted to say multiple ways, but I'll restrict it to two, what I call it, divides. Now, the first is for youths that are, even those people in that sector are also complaining, but let's say if you are a youth, for instance, and you have foreign employment, you're a resident in Nigeria, and you have some sort of foreign engagement, maybe you're paid in high currency or hard currency, that's dollars and all, you might want to say you will be living large, because the more the free fall or the deeper the fall of the Naira, the more money for you, right? However, for you who is working in Nigeria, you're resident here, you're paid in Naira, the more the issues are grab with the dollar and the Naira, it bites really harder. So, but if you look at the percentage more is on the rise. That's for those residents and who work and who get paid in local currency. So I think if you look at that from that angle, you would also want to say that a lot of youths are really, really struggling. For instance, I mean, let me bring it down to you and I. We paid in Naira. I don't even know what we're talking about. You know, we're here. You and I, right? We are paid in Naira. Yeah. We knew what the price of fuel was. About, what was that? Sometime January. I mean, before the elections. And immediately the new administration said subsidy is over. We know how much we buy. I was telling someone recently that before, an average young person, working in Nigeria who earns in Naira, not just even in Naira, everybody. You could budget and say, okay, for this month, I want to just spend 30,000 Naira on fueling. She's laughing. She knows why. You say, yes, I cannot exceed 30K to fuel my car. Right now, you're looking at 100 plus. Now, if you are, maybe let me use Lagos, for instance. You're resident in Lagos, right? You live somewhere after Egbeda, or you're looking at Ogun State. You are sharing boundaries. In fact, with Ogun State. From your house, you can see Ogun State, and you walk on the island. And not just on the island. Let's say Abraham Adesoya or after. My brother, my sister.
Is that farther than Aja?
I think so. You are looking at Aja. You know how much you'll be spending. And if you drive yourself, you know how much you would have to spend just on transportation. We have not included feeding. I mean, there are feelers right now that the price of rice, a bag of rice is, spiked in Nigeria. So you would want to look at feeding. You've not considered feeding. You've not considered accommodation, which is another major issue.
And a lot of people don't even, when they say transportation, a lot of people just budget for fuel alone. You don't know that your car can break down on 3rd Milan Bridge. I mean, that's for those living in Nigeria. In Lagos.
So, I mean, I like to be practical, right? So before, if you buy, for people that, they are buddies with their mechanics, right? You and your mechanic, you are bestie. You know that before, if you get a Kickstarter for your car, if it goes bad, you can get the same maybe 8,000, 9,000. Right now, it's going to almost to 20,000 Naira. Ordinary fuel pump, to replace it, you could get it 5K. Right now, they will be telling you almost 10,000 Naira. So that's to tell you how much, that spike. If you're also techie, you like to change your phones, you know how much you spend now.
Nobody would even want to change.
If your phone screen should break. So I think for a lot of, what will I call it, young people that are working, even those that are collecting pocket money, right now, you know that before, that pocket money, if they give you 10,000 Naira, you can go to the movies and all of that. Right now, the purchasing power. Exactly, it's just to breathe in and breathe out.
All right, very quickly, we're going to take a look at what tweeps are saying about this particular situation. I'm going to read it out now, and then I will divide questions from that for our guests. All right, let's take a look at that. Now, TC says, when did we really start walking backward? That's a very important question. Deliberately turn off the switch of industrialization. Exchange rate in 1971 was 1 Naira to $2.5. And I'm sure those people would have been like, this is expensive. Exchange rate now is over 1,000. Another person says, in 2 days to come, we're going to celebrate Nigeria at 63. Then I ask again, what are we celebrating? Dollar rate, 1,002. A bag of cement, 5,500. Indomitable that was 2K is now 5K. Let's not even go into that. Because a lot of things that I love to chew on or to snack on, I can't even afford it anymore.
Let's even
Foodstuff is skyrocketing as well. Now, this person says $1 is officially 1,000 and more. £1 is 1,200. A litre of diesel, 1,050. A kilogram of cooking gas, 800. Inflation rate, 27%. A litre of petrol with subsidy, 610. Minimum wage, 30K. All right. Somto says it's. I'm coming to that. Somto says it's more profitable to keep your money in dollars and be earning interest than to run a business in Nigeria right now. The mental gymnastics and calculation is no longer worth it. You know, let's stop there. I want to pick on this particular one that Somto just said. This Somto that just talked. Now he said it's easier to save your money in dollars. Which money? With the minimum rate being 30,000 naira, and all of these things that they've listed, and you said having a boyfriend and girlfriend,
you must
that you give allowance
and all of that you must give allowance, girlfriend allowance. I even thought that there's some other hidden allowances, but that's not.
I didn't know.
Yes, so you can meet me later for updates. Okay. So the thing is, I've had some young folks say that. That are techie, tech savvy and all of that. Say, there are apps that immediately they get their money in Naira, they immediately convert it. Yes, the value might drop, but they know it's better to save it, in hard currency, because at some point, knowing how predictable for now the situation is, it would always pick up.
Yes.
Right? Is that the wise thing to do? Look, everybody's scoping right now. So you just have to be creative in terms of
that can add an extra cent to your dollar.
Cents to you. So some people right now, are beginning to take up multiple jobs. Apart from their main day job, by night there's something else.
Let's not even go into that.
I know a lot of people that by day they are bankers, by night. Guy, what are you doing here?
They're banking on something else.
It says the hustle. So people are just getting creative, right?
But isn't this affecting the youth mentally? Speaking of this multiple jobs, I don't even want it hit close to home.
Yes.
Right? I think that's what I'm just going to say.
Yes.
And it kind of affects productivity as well, because when you're trying to juggle, when everything that matters to you is getting the money, just securing the bag, and it's not even helping that you go online and you're seeing people living the life as if they're not.
You see those ones? Let's not go there. I don't know how those ones they'll take pictures and all of that. I tell people, look, it's if you choose to be under pressure online, a lot of it is fake. Some people go to 5-star hotels, take pictures there, and then post it on social. Some borrow the clothes. I'm not saying some don't have it legit.
But according to some influencers, they earn like 6 million in a week.
But again, if you look at it, quite a number of them have their content on streaming platforms, and they're paid, on some of those platforms with hard currency. Yeah. So I think people are just getting creative when it comes to, I don't want to use the word, luxury is not like luxury as it used to be, but surviving. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, it's basically what works, for you, right? So yeah. So and also being just expand.
Expand. I was going to ask you about managing finances, but we are pressed for time. But this is what I'm going to say. Just like Dapo said, do not let yourself be pressured, right? The economy is not exactly favorable for everybody right now, and we're hoping that it gets better. But in the meantime, make do with what you have. Do not spend beyond your budget, no matter how hard it is. And even if you're doing that, let it be on the things that are important, not on trivial things. That bow straight, you will still wear it. The car, you will still buy it. So please, just take your time, do your thing, and just maximize your talent. I think that's the best way to say it. Thank you so much for joining us on Fafanua Africa, the youth-based show that focuses on redefining the continent. And I hope you did learn a thing or two, either from the first segment or the second. I did learn from the second segment. See you again next Friday as we bring you the trending stories across Africa, and we try to prefer solution to that. I'm Blessings Mosugu. Have a lovely day.